Hey party people, Techno here, and in this video we're going to take a look at another one of the challenges from this year's Cyber Apocalypse CTF from Hack the Box. Specifically, we're going to be looking at a challenge called Flag Command, which is a web challenge and it's ranked as very easy. So in this challenge, we're going to start a container in the Hack the Box CTF interface, and then we'll navigate to that container's IP and port in our web browser. So let's do that now. And we are greeted with some text, so this is kind of interesting. Let's see what's going on here. You abruptly find yourself lucid in the middle of a bizarre alien forest. How the hell did you end up here? Eerie, indistinguishable sounds ripple through the gnarled trees, setting the hairs on your neck on edge. Glancing around, you spot a gangly grinning feature lurking in the shadows, muttering X-Clown, like some sort of deranged mantra, clearly waiting for you to pass out or something. Creepy much? Heads up, this forest isn't your grandmother's backyard. It's packed with enough freaks and frights to make a horror movie blush. Time to find your way out. The stakes? Oh, nothing big, just your friends, plunged into an abyss of darkness and despair. Fun. Punch and start to kick things off in this twisted adventure. Okay, well, for the starters, let's just go ahead and do as instructed, and let's hit start. You wake up in a forest. You have 4 options. Head north, head south, head east, and head west. Let's just see what happens if we go with the first option here and head north. Venturing forth with the grace of a 3-legged cat, you head north. Turns out your sense of direction is as bad as your cooking. Somehow it actually works out this time. You stumble into a clearing, finding a small, cozy-looking tavern with the Sloshed Squirrel swinging on a signpost. It's a great name. Congratulations, you've avoided immediate death by boredom and possibly by beasties for now. And we have 4 more options here. Go deeper into the forest, follow a mysterious path, climb a tree, or turn back. I don't feel like typing a whole lot, so let's do turn back and see what happens. You decide to turn back, but you realize you've lost your way. Night falls and the forest becomes a dark, eerie place. You hear mysterious sounds closing in. Game over. You died and couldn't escape the forest. Press restart to try again. So we can probably kick this off by restarting, but one thing that comes to mind here is we clearly have a choose your own adventure game. With all of the right selections, we might be greeted with a flag at the end of this. So being the kind of challenge that this is, being a web challenge in a CTF, one of the first places we might want to start looking for things is in the developer tools. So let's do a view page source here. Actually, let's go inspect and open up those developer tools and take a closer look at this. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and restart this as well. So we can see all of the current HTML that's been printed out so far. And when I restart this game, we see some options in here. So I kind of missed that, but what's happening is this is counting down. Now the game's restarted. So this is loading up again. We can see those options, they disappear now from our inspector. We don't actually have a whole lot in here, but what we do have is some references to some JavaScript files. So we have a reference to game.js, a reference to main.js, and a reference to commands.js. So given that this is pulling in information from a script, let's see if we can learn more about what those scripts are doing over here in the debugger. I'm going to kind of expand this out so we can get a better view. Sure enough, we have commands.js, game.js, and main.js right here. If we look at commands.js, this appears to be defining some of that input. Like here's the intro text when the game starts up, and here's some of our initial options. Okay. Now game.js, not a ton in here, but this is clearly defining player lost and player won. So we see display game result, game lost, error, display game result, game won, success. Not much more to this. Let's take a look at main.js. Actually, I'm going to increase the size of this text as well to make this easier to see on screen. So here we have quite a bit more. And some interesting things that we see as we get down in here are HTTP requests. So we have a function check message, and this also defines a current command variable, which interestingly is tied to command history. So it's looking at command history to define current command, And now we have an if-else statement that is stating if available options current step includes current command, then this executes. We also have an or condition here for available options secret includes current command, and then this executes. So that might be something to keep in mind. We can see that it is fetching these responses from an API endpoint on the web server /API/monitor, and that is a post request. So now if we kind of scroll down in here, this is kind of interesting. It's checking to see the output of the message for game over to define player lost, and it's also looking for the first part of that hack the box flag to define if the player won. And then we have some other if statements here, or if else statements. We have that head north that we initially saw. So current command equals head north and current step is 2. Then we continue. Else, display line terminal. So this is an error message that looks like it would display if nothing matches in here. So first we're checking to see if the command history includes any of the available options, and then more explicitly checking to see if the current command, that history, matches a specific option. If it doesn't match any of the options, we get an error message that we assume would prompt us again for something that is defined in those available options so it can check against this. So the way this is laid out, it looks like if we head north first, follow mysterious path second, and set up camp third, that might finish the game for us and we might actually win and get the flag. So let's give that a try. We'll do start again. So we know for our first one, we have to head north. We have to spell correctly as well, since this is doing a strict match against those strings. It's an interesting output that we get here now, this what are you trying to break? That didn't happen before, even though we do move on to the next set of options. And now what we want to do is follow a mysterious path. So we decide to follow a mysterious path, leads us to a magical meadow. A unicorn approaches and offers us a ride, and we find ourselves in the mystical realm next. So according to this, setup camp should be the final match that we need. So let's go ahead and do that. Decide to set up camp and enjoy a peaceful night. However, you forgot to check for fire ants. They invade your sleeping bag, turning your campsite into a chaotic dance floor. But you escape because you are 1337. Just kidding, elite. And we have 4 more options. So this is interesting because this isn't laid out in the script here. So what ends up happening is, since none of these options are going to match anything here, we're going to die no matter what we pick. So this clearly is not the entire story. So let's go back and take a closer look at some of this stuff to see what happens. And I mean, we could go through and we could try each one of these things. Let's just go with enter a magical portal. Wow. Typing skills not there today. And actually, this is interesting because here's, because I didn't finish portal, but we did get the output of that not matching one of the available options. So we see the output text there is what is defined right here in the JavaScript. Let's try that again. So we end up in a room full of grumpy wizards arguing about plumbing issues, and we died. All right, so let's see what else we can suss out from this script. And actually, if we go through here a bit more, we're going to find some additional information, such as at the bottom here, the available options defined. So fetch options is a function here, and it's calling this API options endpoint to bring back all possible commands. So that's kind of cool. That's something we could definitely look at here. We could go into our command line and we could just do a curl. Let's do an xget, And then we will put in the IP and port of that container again. So 53.3, 59.160. And let's pull this information down. And look at that. We got all possible commands here. We got the head north, west, east, south. We have those go deeper into the forest and all of those. Explore a cave. We do see that set of options that didn't have any specific match. And now this is interesting too, because we have a secret here. Now, this is particularly cool because, as we already saw in this script, there is an OR condition in this HTTP requests area. So not only is it checking the command history for the current step in the current command, or is it checking available options for the current step in current command, it's also checking available options for a secret. So that's really cool. And in fact, these options, we would also see these, for example, if we went to the network section of our developer tools. And as this game is loading up, you can see the get request to options right here. And if we take a closer look at this and look at the response, it is the same set of data, right? So we have all these available options, including the secret. So a number of ways that you could have stumbled upon that. So given that we now know this, and we know that there's no possible way to win the game the way it's currently laid out, let's restart this one more time. And we know that command history is always being checked for this secret. Let's copy the selection out. We can go ahead and close our developer tools. We'll hit start. And instead of entering the 4 options it presents us, what happens if we put in that secret? And there's our flag. So that was the key to this whole thing. Hack the Box, developer tools are best what you think. I think we solved this challenge, and I think we will continue to look at more of these challenges from Cyber Apocalypse in upcoming videos. But until then, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I do truly appreciate it. Until next time, take care, and I will catch you later.